think you ought to buy the octopus, go into business. Thank you very much for all those headlines. It's time for the papers. Joining us this morning, Guardian's legal affairs correspondent Afua Hirsch. Very good morning. Welcome to Sunrise once more. The big society, the Guardian's looking at this. I mean, what's it actually going to mean?
Well, this is one of the key Tory manifesto pledges, and everyone's been wondering actually what it's going to look like. And David Cameron's making a speech today, which is apparently going to shed more light. But it seems that they've chosen 4 areas that are going to be kind of pilots for this big society idea. But essentially, it seems to mean 2 things. One, actually giving central government funds to local authorities to allow them to decide things like public transport links and what are called community assets, pubs apparently. Are community assets, and be able to have more say over how they organise. Do you fancy coming down to the community asset for a swift half? Doesn't quite have the same. It sounds like a lot of jargon, doesn't it? Yeah. And then the other thing is this emphasis on volunteering, which was really controversial because what Labour is saying is that they're using this to dress up what are essentially cuts.
And doing it on the cheap.
And doing it on the cheap, and that they're trying to make out like it's a positive thing, where actually they're just depriving people of services that they really depended on.
And community assets.
And community assets. So hopefully we'll have more of a picture of what this actually means later today.
Well, Mr Cameron also off to Washington a little later. And there's a wonderful piece here in The Times where they're looking at what you take with you when you go and see the president.
Well, this is the really interesting part of these transatlantic summits. And the Times talks about a lot of the diplomatic gaffes that Brown was guilty of when he used to go meet Obama. But one resounding success was a gift he took, which was a pen holder carved from timber from HMS Gannet, a Victorian anti-slaving ship, which apparently had Obama so excited that he called Brown before he'd even got home to thank him.
But Mr Brown only had, what, some DVDs in return?
Obama famously reciprocated by giving Brown a box set of DVDs which didn't work in the UK. Embarrassing.
Oh, wonderful, because it's a wrong format,
says about the balance of power in the special relationship. But a lot of speculation as to what Cameron will have in his suitcase after those high expectations.
Yeah, there's a wonderful list here of past, as you say, gaffes. George Bush Sr. giving John Major a Louisville Slugger baseball cap. I bet that went down really well. But no idea as yet what Mr Cameron might be taking.
I know from friends who work in the government that there are actually people whose job it is to design.
You're kidding?
Yeah, there's
seriously.
What a difficult job that must be. Though. You know, it's hard enough sometimes buying birthday presents and things, isn't it? But imagine if you're buying for the president or the Prime Minister.
I think it would be a great job, though.
Especially when he already has the pen holder made from the timbers of HMS Gannet.
I mean,
what else do you get a man?
Where do you go from there?
Right, OK. Right, more serious matters in The Guardian. The detainee accusing secret services of removing torture details from the official record.
Yeah, this is the case which is, involves 6 people who were detained in Guantanamo Bay, the most famous of whom is Binyan Mohammed, but there are actually 6 of them, and they're now bringing a claim against the government for the UK's role in their rendition and detention in Guantanamo Bay. And it's been a big battle already, and the government tried to have the whole case held in secret, which has never been done for a civil trial in this country before. They lost, and now pieces of information are coming into the public domain for the first time. And one of them is this record of interrogations that one of the detainees underwent. And there's actually a picture of it on this page in The Guardian. You can see that practically the whole page has been redacted, which is the term used when passages are blacked out. Yeah. And what this detainee is saying is that the passages removed are actually the key passages that detail his mistreatment.
And do we know what is actually alleged when they say about torture? I mean, is it, as we would see, you know, the sort of waterboarding, all these things that were alleged to have been taking place?
Absolutely, they're very serious allegations. Physical mistreatment, psychological mistreatment, sleep deprivation, use of other cruel techniques, the whole lot. And he says actually what's removed is as important, if not more important, than what's revealed. So I think there's going to be a lot of debate now about what the security services are allowing to come into the public domain.
And very much on your own beat, of course.
Absolutely, this is something that I've covered and The Guardian has been very strong on.
Right, well, we'll see what emerges in the weeks and months to come. Now, we've got a lot of discussion going on our emails about the burqa, do you ban or not? And the Daily Mail here basically going the other way, where we've got a cabinet minister saying, well, they actually empower it. And this is Caroline Spellman, who was on Sky News, of course. Yeah,
this is a very... it's been controversial ever since France moved towards a ban on the burqa there.
To support this sort of secular society.
But what's interesting is the way the debate's changing in this country, because following on from France, the Tory MPs tabled a private member's bill to ban the burqa in Britain as well. And the response has been quite surprising. A lot of the tabloid press and Conservative MPs have actually come out and said, we don't like the burqa, but banning things is un-British. We can't talk about a ban. And it's quite interesting because it's allowed the strength of feeling against the burqa to come out in a way that it hadn't before, because people are able to take this slightly moral position where they say, well, we won't ban things and we'll allow women to do what they want, but we really, really dislike the burqa. But Caroline Spellman's actually come out in the other direction, said it's empowering for women to be able to choose what they wear. And I think this is what's happening with the burqa. It's really dividing people and not necessarily along predictable lines.
But it's a measured debate, it seems, at the moment. You know, the usual ranting and raving doesn't appear to be coming to the surface so far. I mean, people are talking about it on a moral issue. I
mean, this Tory MP who's tabled the private members' bill has said...
is this Philip Holloway?
This is Philip Holloway, and he says, covering your face in public is strange and to many people both intimidating and offensive. And I think we will see more of this rhetoric about, you know, finding it foreign and scary and intimidating, which some Muslim people have already said they find that offensive, the idea that their expression of their religion could be offensive to anyone. But on the other side, many people are saying actually it empowers women and they should be allowed to choose. So I think it's evolving in an interesting way, this debate.
I won't be so ungallant as to ask you your age, but apparently you are all going to peak at 31, so I'm sure you've got some time to go yet.
I absolutely love this story. I think it's great. The peak time for beauty for women is 31. Well, I'm not too keen on the peak aspect, but I like the idea that you look fabulous when you're 31. And the Daily Star says that Christine Bleakley, Alicia Dixon and Danielle Lineker are three examples of what this new survey has not necessarily...
Well, I think they could have done slightly better. However, carry on, yes.
But this survey's found that women actually peak in their 30s, and the flirty 30s are apparently where it's at now.
Right.
But also, interestingly, the survey covered women all across the UK, and it emerged that women in London are the most confident about their looks. And women in Wales are the least confident about their looks, apparently, which is interesting. And female East Midlands residents spend the most on beauty products.
£129.69 every month.
Not to be sniffed at, is it?
A lot of money.
There's a big industry there.
Yeah. And nothing about when men peak, then?
No, curiously.
About 7:45, I think. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you again, and thanks very much for coming in with your section of the papers. But time now to update you on the top stories. As we get it, let's get an update too in the rest of the day's news with Charlotte.
Thanks, Mark. The US government says it's detected seepage from the cap on the leaking oil pipe in the Gulf of Mexico. Integrity tests on the cap had been carried out over the weekend.
Don't know what he's looking at there, but there we are. OK, well done to him. Congratulations, thank you very much. Let's take a look at what's on the front pages of the Monday papers.